Hi, Scorpio. So I kind of feel like it's all about you guys this month, besides the obvious, right? That it's your birthday. Happy birthday. I feel like because of Mercury, what's going on with Mercury entering you guys, again on the 10th into the 11th, depending on where you live, and then the new moon being in you guys, and then Jupiter conjuncting Pluto, which is your modern ruler. Oh, we have a lot to talk about. So I'm going to be doing career and relationship reads. I'm going to start with relationship this time. I'm going to start off with just talking about 4 general energetic influences going into the relationship, and then going into the into career. I'm going to timestamp for career, okay? Just for your ease, if you don't want to hang for the relationship stuff. But let's go get right into, so again, depending on where you live, November 10th into the 11th, right? We're going to have Mercury is entering you guys, and we have the new moon and you guys on the 14th. And this is happening in your first house, obviously, right? Because it's you guys. So the first house is the house of self. It's the house of your personality. It's the, and when I say mask, it's the mask you wear. But when I say mask, not in the negative way. It's basically, especially those of you who are Scorpio risings, it's like what people understand you to be when they first meet you until they really get to know your ego center, that ego consciousness. That would be your sun sign. And obviously for those Scorpio sun signs, you know, people, when they first meet you, they will understand you as whatever your rising sign is until they get to know that deeper core of who you actually are. So that is that first house of self, and it's kind of the start of everything. It's sort of the core of not only your physical self, your physical manifestation of self, but it also has to do with, you know, the core of how you understand life to be, how you engage with the world, how you process the world, and how the world really understands you, right? So when we have you hanging out with Mercury, it becomes this very thoughtful, very introspective and communicative element added onto your very watery your watery sign, right? Because Mercury is air. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. That's that 3rd and 6th house energy, right? And it has to do with, Mercury is all about learning and communicating and the day-to-day. So when we have it with Scorpio, what happens here is that we're able to sort of really think about, on a day-to-day experience, what do we need to look at that's living underneath the surface that might be needing addressing? Stuff for good, bad, or indifferent. It doesn't all have to be bad, guys. It could just be us realizing that, hey, you know what? I really love doing this, or I really want to be in this situation. I want to be in this relationship, whatever it is. You're really very much in this space of feeling, right? Especially with the new moon. The moon rules our feelings of what we want to be going on. Now, a little caveat with the new moon in you. The moon rules Cancer, right, which is that 4th house. So what do we say about the 4th house? We say that it's home and foundation and security and all of that, right? But it's also the house of the stories that we tell ourselves. So having that new moon in there, moon being our emotions, you're really going to be pushed, Scorpio, to look at the story that you've been telling yourself, about other people in your life, about your story. Again, good, bad, or indifferent. There's no judgment here. It's just you're going to be able to see things with a different set of eyes than you've been able to see them with, which I think is really good. Now, we also, on the 12th, we have Jupiter conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, and this is happening in your 3rd house, right? 3rd house, as I just mentioned, it is ruled by Gemini. Gemini is the landlord there, ruled by Mercury, right? So more Mercury influence. And the 3rd house is the house of communication, short distance travel, but it's also the house of the student. And it's where we open ourselves up to learn new things. And because Jupiter is going to be conjunct Pluto, what does a conjunction mean? It means working on integration. So we're working on integrating Jupiter, which is all about luck and expansion and moving forward with integrity, with Pluto, your modern ruler, which is all about transformation and change and getting underneath it all. So there's this beautiful positive change happening in your 3rd house, Scorpio. My goodness, you're going to be so ready to just learn and do and communicate and just be so expressive in ways that you've been struggling with. differently than in way, from how you've been struggling with it. Now, additionally, we are going to have Mars is going to be stationing direct in Aries, and this is going to be happening in your 6th house, also ruled by Mercury. You follow? It's like you and Mercury are like holding hands this entire month. Now, the 6th house, what is the 6th house? It's a landlord is Virgo. It rules your day-to-day. Now, it doesn't only rule your work environment. That's silly. Not everybody works, right? It is literally your day-to-day experience. So, of course, that would include your work environment. If you're working, the people you work with. It also includes your small animals, but most importantly, it includes your health. Mental, physical, emotional. It is your health, right? So now we have Mars, the warrior planet, stationing direct in Aries. What does that mean? Mars has been retrograde. So where we've been wanting to move forward in feeling less confused and feeling less anxious and feeling healthier about ourselves and feeling good about our day-to-day experience, our day-to-day work experience, if it could be. We might be, maybe we've been going through some situations with our animals, right? So it's like this holding back. Now with it stationing direct, I want to let you know that while, yes, Mars going direct means it's not going to be retrograde anymore. There's going to be this forward movement. But for this week, whenever a planet stations direct, it's very heightened energy. It's very heightened. So you might be feeling like very stressed out or very anxious or very something, but only for it to then ease. You follow? It's kind of like the worst part's like rising up to the surface before everything just sort of starts to move forward in that 6th house of everything that we just discussed. So I do think this is a really important week for you. I have to say, I feel like on a subconscious level, right? Because this is all, you guys are all about the subconscious. You guys are you're the psychologists of the zodiac. You guys are the detectives of the zodiac. You're all about getting deep in underneath things. Very introspective with Mercury in there hanging out. Wow, really good stuff. You're going to just have so much clarity, which I'm just really excited for you about, because you know what? Why not, right? Sounds good to me. Let's just like let that happen for you. So let's first pull. We're going to pull some Island Time Wellness as your crowning energies for the relationship read. So we have wedding rings, union, wedding, married, soul connection, eternal love, everlasting promise. Beautiful. Very nice. Why does the light in here seem weird? Does it seem weird to you guys? I have so many, if I could show you, I have so many like ring lights on. It still looks dark to me. I don't know. Okay, then we have date. We have date, meeting someone new, dating, getting back out there, plan, set a date. Now, I want to be very clear. When we have these oracles, the tag words or phrases, it can mean one of them. It can mean, very rarely does it mean all of them. So the idea of a date could actually be that you plan and set a date maybe with your wife or your husband, or somebody who you were with at one point and you're going to meet up again. Or this could be meeting somebody brand new, right? But so it doesn't necessarily mean, it can mean meeting somebody new. It could be, getting back out there after having maybe been in shutdown mode, or maybe after having not been together for a while, you guys getting together for a date to talk. For others of you, if you are in a relationship that's otherwise pretty good, but maybe you haven't been paying as much attention to the romance sector of your relationship, you planning and setting a date, you putting aside time to really work on your relationship, which is really nice. And we have cassette, outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events over in your head. And I feel like a lot of you guys are going to be doing this, right? For sure. Especially because of what's going on in your first house, that first house of self. And with Mercury in there, you're going to be thinking, where have I, or where's my partner maybe been, thinking in ways that just doesn't serve us, the relationship, anymore. Then we have love, unconditional love, self-love, passion, affection, attraction. And then we have soulmates, soul connection, partnership, agreement, soul contract. So obviously for those of you who are single, it seem like you're going to be meeting somebody new. You're going to be reevaluating how you've shown up in relationships in the past, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. It does seem like you're going to be very focused on the idea of a serious relationship, unconditional love, having that beautiful camaraderie, right, that a soulmate connection would bring. So for those of you who are single, again, for those of you you who are in a relationship where maybe you've just been having a little bit of a struggle, you're going to be looking at what's been getting in the way, which is really nice. So more than anything, I like the idea that we have wedding rings, loves, and soulmate. You're going to be bringing it back home, down to the center and core of what really matters. You're going to make it, setting a date, even if it's like a carpet picnic at home, guys. It doesn't have to be, especially in the time of COVID and the weird times that we're in. That's be creative with that. But these are the different things that I'm seeing going on. Now, for those of you who are in a situation where maybe you were together and you're not together anymore, it does, to me, you guys are going to be in some sort of communication, and there's going to be conversation about what's necessary. And you may be coming to the realization that maybe there is something karmic about this, right? That soul connection, that soul contract, not always the easiest and most comfortable thing to deal with. But it does seem like there's at least going to be conversation. And what I do see, Scorpio, is you being more clear on what it is that you want out of the situation, which I am seeing is something more serious so than what it was. For those of you who are in that sort of in between, maybe cyclical kind of space. So let's bring these over here. I'm going to be pulling for past, present, future, and final outcome. I'm going to be pulling 4 cards for each, and I'm going to do it layered. We mix them up, right? We did Celtic Cross last time. We do this time. Let's see what we have for our Scorpio friends. We have Princess of Coins, 8 of Wands. That's in the recent past. This is what's going on now. Very nice. Thinking about the future, we got the Sun. Very good. And then we have the final outcome, 10 of Wands in reverse. Oh, I like that, actually. And then we have the King of Coins. Okay, 9 of Wands. Temperance in reverse in the past. Yep. Nice. Okay, we're going to have to talk about that, the near future. But the final outcome looks healthy. And that's what I say. It's all about being healthy, right? So we have here the Princess of Coins and the Knight of Wands. Why don't we talk about the Nine of Wands first? The Nine of Wands is about keeping and maintaining boundaries and being very persistent in something in the recent past. So, if you're single, you're not giving up on love, right? You're like, maybe the next one will do it. For those of you in a relationship, you absolutely still, you have fire in your belly. You've been through a lot, though. You've been through a lot. In the traditional Rider-Waite, the Nine of Wands is the guy with the bandage and the blood coming through on his head. It's like, I've been through so much, but I still want this person, right? And that's kind of where you're at there. And then we have the Princess of Coins, which indicates being very patient, right? Now, the coins in relationship reads, it can be money and or mental, emotional, physical connection. So this could have to do with maybe somebody getting a new job within the connection or some sort of money news coming in, but in a way where it ends up impacting the relationship in one way or another. If it has nothing to do with money, this could simply be being very, very patient and understanding that you guys are starting a new cycle in your relationship. So, and even if you guys have been together and you didn't break up, there is an element of cyclical experience within the longest relationships, right? I think we all know that. Those of us who've been in long-term relationships, you got your good and your bad, the ebb and the flow, right? So it does seem like you're coming out of a challenging situation, and you've recently, in the recent past, started to incite a new cycle within that experience with this person. And then we have Temperance Reverse, and we have the 8 of Wands. So, all right, so we have the 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands is, again, really about, more than anything, self-imposed limitations, restrictions, imprisonment, not feeling sure if you belong in something, right? Feeling like something was just off. Your shoes were on the wrong feet. It worked for you at one point. It's not working at this point. Something needs to change. Something needs to give. Scorpio was kind of like, now when I say this, you could have been feeling this way, or your partner could have been feeling this way, right? When the energies are two enmeshed. So maybe we're both feeling a little bit like this. But we have this idea of temperance being reversed in the recent past. So temperance is very much about compromise. So maybe there was this challenge in the past to actually effectively compromise. This is very much, I have your back, you have mine. So when we get this reverse, it's indicative of a disruptive energy, a little bit of chaos, excessive feelings out of control, like you just can't control And it's different than, yeah, we all know that we can only control ourselves and we can't control other people's emotions and yada yada, all of that. It's not like that. It's kind of like where you were in this space where you were just like, I seriously have no control over how this is going. You know, where it's you really not even understanding your partner for a minute, you not feeling like there's this sense of compromise, almost like you guys were on very, very different pages. Even though you were starting this new cycle and you still have fire in your belly, you felt like you guys needed to get more on the same page of something. Now, for those of you who are single, you definitely might be in the space of, you know, in the recent past where you were maybe in chaotic relationships, you had some sort of chaotic experience within relationships and you felt out of control. And now in this new cycle, going into this new cycle, it's like, you know what? I'm not giving up on relationships, but I feel like that being out of control, that kind of chaotic situation, I don't want that for myself anymore. Now, you know, look, I mean, you guys are Scorpios, right? So we all know that wherever Scorpio hangs out in our chart, that's where our obsessions hang out, for good, bad, or indifferent, right? I mean, we're all like everybody, right? I mean, that's just the energy. It's a beautiful energy, but you know, the slightly shadow manifestation could be this ruminating sort of this disruptive kind of energy. But the thing is, I feel like you just like kind of don't want to have that in your life anymore. You want some sort of semblance of something that's less toxic. So here in the present now, we have moving with the Six of Swords, which is all about that, right? This is all about moving away from that toxicity, right? This necessary transition and just moving away from to a calmer place, calmer waters. And it's working with the Three of Wands, which is great. This is about teamwork, you know, and it's about expanding your experience together as a couple. Now, if you are single, this is you moving away from some sort of toxicity and setting your sights on the future. So whether you're single or whether you're partnered, there is this idea of moving forward in this with expansion, though. And guys, even if you are single, though, I don't see you moving forward alone right now. I just don't see it. I see somebody coming in, because the Three of Wands, there is very much with the Three of Wands energy, there's another energy involved in it, right? Because it's a sun in Aries, and Aries is all about, come on, person, let's go, fresh path, new perspective. So this could either be you inciting this newness or them inciting it with you. We have the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is a new idea, having a lot of mental clarity. So something is really clear to you. Scorpio, how beautiful does this align with your astrology right now? For goodness sake, come on now. You know, Mercury in you guys, and it's not retrograde anymore, right? Coming into this week, so it's leaving shadow, as a matter of fact. So new ideas, mental clarity, absolutely, seeing things differently. Beautiful, the sun, material happiness. This is indicative of a joyous outcome and you having all the tools in your toolbox you need to make something work. Right now, you have everything that you need. So let's see where we're going with this. Let's go into the near future. So the near future indicates we have the Two of Wands in reverse, which is plans falling through, right? Plans falling apart. Maybe you were thinking too small and too limited about something within the connection, within the relationship. So maybe you really like somebody and you thought it was going somewhere and you're like, oh, you know, not so much. It's not going to grow, right? With the Empress reverse, this does indicate, you know, this limited ability to actually move forward and grow in something, because the Empress is the mother of the tarot. She's perpetually pregnant. So, you know, in the upright, it indicates fertility, creation, abundance, forward movement, growth, really, right? The growing of something. And in the reverse, it can indicate dependence, for those of you in relationship, dependence on others. For those of you in relationship, if you're trying to have a baby, this could be indicative of fertility issues, perhaps even limited resources with the Empress reverse. This could just be a situation that you guys are dealing with right now in the near future. And because of that, You know, we have this Two of Wands working as something falling through, something falling apart. You know, maybe you were just thinking like a little too restrictive on an idea that you were trying to push moving forward. Now, for those of you who are, again, single, maybe this is, you know, you meeting somebody and it's just not going, you know, in the direction that you really thought it was going to go, because we have it working here with the Two of Cups, which indicates a breakup, a separation. But this could also be this element of disinterest in something, like just not wanting to move forward in something in the same way, or it could just simply indicate an argument, right? It doesn't have to be the end of the world. It could just indicate that maybe you guys are having an argument about having a child, some sort of money issue, some sort of growth opportunity. Maybe it's moving, maybe it's opening a business. It could be anything that would, you know, by all rights, push your life forward together, and you guys having an argument about that. But then we have the King of Swords coming in. And the King of Swords, I like this energy with these other cards, right? Because this is a very intentional leadership energy, and this is all about strategic thought. This is all about, actually, and for you guys, Scorpio, this is not always the easiest, because swords are an air energy, right? And you guys are water. So this is all about taking the emotions the hell out of it, taking the water out of whatever situation is at play, and you guys sticking with the facts, sticking in the mental. And I feel like if you're ever going to be able to do it, man, is it going to be during this time, because you have Mercury on your side. You have Mercury on your side. So what I see happening here is a lot of problem solving, sticking with the facts, sticking with the mental, not allowing your emotions to rule the day, not allowing yourself to be overreactive in anything, saying, okay, what do we have to do? Let's get to the bottom of things, right? Tapping into your inner Virgo. Right, and we all have Virgo somewhere in us, and they are the problem solvers of the zodiac, right? So, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and so that's why I'm bringing that in. But it is this idea of that beautiful sort of, you know, let me focus. Now, even more specifically, keeping in mind that the King of Swords is a Capricorn and Aquarius energy. I don't want you to get confused with all the signs that I'm throwing out, but because swords are air, Mercury is air, right? That's why I brought in the Virgo. But in astrology, when we discuss the King of Swords is a Capricorn, which rules that 10th house of putting in the hard work, and Aquarius, which is that 11th house of goals and wishes, right? So you're ready to, you know, get down to the bottom line and figure out what has to be done. Beautiful, productive energy is what I see for that. Very nice. And then we have, as the final outcome, 10 of Wands in reverse. I like this in reverse because here it's just like taking a break, finally saying no, and things lightening up. There's an element of freedom to the 10 of Wands in reverse. It's like something that was so heavy and hard, you're just like, no more. Let me just put that down, right? And then it's working with the 6 of Coins, which is such a I have your back, you have mine energy. This is about giving and receiving and being generous with each other. Just saying, you know, we don't want it to be difficult anymore. So you know what? Let's decide not to make it difficult anymore. That kind of thing. Really nice. Really nice. And for those of you who are single, I see you saying, you know what? That was more drama. That was more drama. Thank goodness that didn't work out, you know. And then you meeting somebody, though, once you put out of your head that something has to be a certain way. I just see somebody coming in who's just very generous, with you. And we have this working with the 2 of Pentacle energy, which is about 2 choices, multitasking. You might be in a space of needing to weigh many options, but look at how she's looking out at her future. She's looking out at the future here. And we have this working with the King of Coins. So the King of Coins is a very solid and practical, just being very wise in how you're connecting, what you're connecting to. This is a very good energy, the King of Coins. It really is. You know, this is an Aries and Taurus energy. Aries, again, is all about a fresh path, a new perspective. That's exactly what we have going on here. And Taurus, being ruled by Venus, it's like, all right, you know, let's be earthy. Taurus is very earthy and practical. But then it's ruled by Venus. It's like, all right, let's get practical, right? Do we love each other? Do we want to make this work? How is this going to be? How is this going to work out? What does money look like? Because Venus is a money planet. How are we communicating and connected? Because Venus rules that as well, right? How we feel being involved in something. do we love each other? I'm really looking at that. I'm really looking at the connection here as far as moving forward into something. So for those of you who are single, this may be a time, Scorpio, where more than anything, you end up, if you don't meet somebody that ends up, you might meet somebody where it doesn't work out, and then you're like, disaster averted there, right? But you're at least realizing what it is that you truly want for yourself in relationship in a different way. You might think you've had it all figured out up to this point, but you're going to be sort of releasing things within yourself right now that you haven't really been privy to. And I know that sounds silly, right? Because it's your own emotions. But a lot of times the energies, the energetic influences can block things from us until we're really ready to accept the messages. And I know a lot of you have been doing all the hard work. It doesn't mean that you haven't been doing the hard work. It just means that the energies have not been ready to show themselves, or, your subconscious has not been ready to expose some sort of truth to yourself, because maybe you needed to figure out some sort of karmic cycle or some sort of lesson in your life before getting to this point. Okay, everybody's jumping out. Let me just pull 3 heart cards, heart oracles. Imagine all unwanted thoughts dissolving into light, creating room for new opportunities and possibilities in your life. Very nice. A message for you. I'm thinking of you at this very moment. Your love fills me with light. I love you. Sacred union. Honor and treasure your relationship. It's truly sacred. So really good stuff. I think I see a lot of you guys like working things out, ironing out the wrinkles, if you've been experiencing that. Obviously, guys, these are general messages. It's not going to apply to all of you equally. That would be silly to think that every single Scorpio is having the same experience. But for those of you who resonate with that, it looks good. It really does look good. Now let's go on to career, money and career for our Scorpio brothers and sisters. Let's start with Lenormand, okay? Just to get a little layout of what's happening. Oh, letter, okay, some sort of truth is coming in, some sort of communication, or some sort of realization. Okay, then we have the ruby. So the ruby, and when we're doing career, it does indicate a strong foundation, but there's going to be some sort of conflict as far as a strong foundation. We have the labyrinth energy. Oops, something's going to be bugging you. We have the mice. Okay. Oof. Oof. You get the mice and the snake. Oh, and then we have patient man. Okay, so you're going to be patiently waiting. I want to actually just keep these all on the same line. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So we have the snake is looking at the patient man, and the man is looking at it's almost like a little showdown with some sort of duplicitousness. So that, to me, that indicates, Scorpio, that you're confused. You're confused about something having to do with money or having to do with your career. You're very much in the mindset of realizing something in a different way than you've realized what you need as far as feeling very strong and established in your foundation when it comes to money and career. Okay, now there is this conflict, and the conflict can be external or can be internal when we have the birch broom here, but because we have it with the labyrinth, right? And the labyrinth is all about trying different strategies. Let me try this. No, that didn't work. Let me try this. No, this didn't work. Now, for some of you, that could literally mean you're trying different jobs. For others of you, it could be that you're in one job, but you're trying to work your job differently. This could have to do with looking into different investments. This could have to do with different ways of trying to gain money, maybe having to do with straightening things out, having to do with an inheritance, or different strategies regarding your investments, maybe even in the stock market, right? Anything like that, because you guys are the 8th house. The 8th house does rule the stock market. But something's bothering you. You're trying all of these different strategies, but there's something eating away at you. Now, for some of you, it could literally mean you feeling like you have this siphoning out of money out of your account, like these bills keep coming in and you keep losing this money, but you don't have really good resources dumping back in to replenish. And this is, really, really bothering you. So for many of you, you could be in this space, right, with this little kind of stare off between like patience and duplicity. It's like you're confused. There's this confusion. Should I keep going on this path, or should I make some sort of big overt change? Should I bother continuing to try at this, or should I just abandon it and throw my energies into something else? What do I really want to do? But what I see is, as an overarching idea here, just, doing like a holistic read of this, is you're very aware. You focus on what you need to have a strong foundation and what you need. And whatever it is that you're in right now, you're not feeling like it's giving you everything that you need in order to establish that firm foundation. So some of you might be in a situation where you are making, let's say you're making good money, but it's like your bills are exceeding, or you feel like very confused about wanting to stay in it. Some of you may be just simply like out of work and very frustrated and worried about money and feeling this idea of needing to make these changes. So these are the different ways that this could end up manifesting. So let's do the Light Seers Tarot for your past, present, and your future final outcome. And let's see what we get. And then we'll throw some astro dice, pull some astro cards to see part of your energy you need to be tapping into right now. We had the Chariot reverse. Seven of Swords, King of Pentacles reverse, okay, and the Cups. Interesting. Sorry, I'm slow pulling. All right. Okay, so in the recent past, we have the Chariot reverse and the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups is an interesting energy to get with the career. First of all, for many of you, it can indicate a new partnership, right? A new, somebody coming in new that wants to help you with the project, some sort of new business partnership, you working with new people. This could be a new job proposal offered to you. But there is this idea of joining together for some of you. For others of you, it could be maybe you were in the workplace, but you were realizing there were issues with the hours that you had to work or the amount you were getting paid. Something that had to do with the pragmatics of how the job was rolling out. And it was a real issue. And you guys sitting down, all of you, the couple of you, whomever, and you had to have this conversation and it going really, really well, right? We have this working though with the Chariot reverse, which is about giving up and losing direction and feeling like you were on the wrong path, listening to the wrong people, not being okay with things. And then and then having the conversation. Now, for some of you, you may be realizing, oh, you know what? I had the conversation and there was actually very little follow through. We talked about money. The money's not coming in. We talked about how I need to work differently because of the current situation of the world, whatever, and them not really honoring that, however it could show up. Or I was promised this raise, this advancement. My business partner said that they would be able to do X, Y, and Z. People not following through. So for some of you, you're going to be understanding it like that and you realizing, you know what, this is the wrong path for me. It's not in my best interest to listen to this person anymore, to put my faith in this bucket anymore. I have to move on. Again, others of you are going to be in the space of realizing things are not quite right. And then maybe you had that productive conversation. So this is in the recent past. Then we have this also working with the King of Wands in reverse. So you might have been dealing with a real bully, right? Somebody who was very, when I say very ego-filled, egocentric, that's always based in fear, right? So there's this element of weakness about it but somebody is very, very much bullying. Also, it could be this idea, if it has nothing to do with a person, the King of Wands in reverse can indicate, because wands are will and motivation and forward movement, there being no real forward movement. So maybe you've been working on a project or you've been, putting your resume out there, your CV, whatever it is, and you're just not hearing back. There's just nothing. crickets, right? Waiting to hear, waiting to hear. And then we have this working with the Seven of Swords energy. And this is very much about, feeling betrayed, dealing with some sort of dishonesty. So if something, maybe if you're working on a project and it's just not moving forward, you're realizing like, oh, you know what? They've been BSing me this whole time, or they've been stringing me along, or they've been saying things are going to be one way and it's actually totally another. And I can't believe that I actually listened to them for a minute at any point in my life, that kind of thing. For others of you, the Seven of Swords can come in as you wearing the mask, doing what you have to do in the moment just to bide your time while you bring yourself into either another position, find some sort of new opportunity for you, but you're not biting your nose off to spite your face. You know what I mean? As it's like you're dealing with this energy that's sort of like something you don't trust. There's something you don't trust about the situation. You're feeling like it's just not the right thing for you, but you're doing what you have to do in the moment just to maybe just simply to make ends meet, whatever it is, right? But this is a moon in Aquarius energy, and moon is when we feel something inside that we're really not telling anybody about, and Aquarius, ruled by Uranus, is all about the future. It's about our plans. It's what you're planning. So you might be planning something, inside of yourself about where you want to go, but you're living in the moment just because you kind of have to, right? Now, in the current situation, so that was in the recent past. In the current situation, we have the King of Pentacles reverse working with the Knight of Cups. So the King of Pentacles in reverse, this can indicate a jealous person, somebody who promises a lot but has very little follow through, right? Where they say a lot and there are a lot of hot air really at the end of the day. But meanwhile, with the Knight of Cups, we have somebody who's proposing something. So somebody's proposing something, Scorpio, but you have to make sure that they're that there's follow through. You have to make sure that they walk the walk, right? Because you're going to be feeling like, oh, that's really not very fair. What's going on here? They said things were going to be A, B, and C. And guess what? There's some dishonesty going on here. There's some unfairness. There could even be some sort of legal issues that you're dealing with within this connection. As somebody said it was going to be one way and it's not. And so you're either walking away from the situation, right? Because again, the Justice energy is Libra. Libra rules the 7th house of partnerships. It's not only marriage partnerships, it's also business and people who we have that shared soul purpose with. So it's completely relevant for career and something you feeling like something was just really not fair. But then we have a fabulous magician. I was going to say musician. The magician's about focused creativity, turning visions into reality, inspired actions. And why I love this for you is because as I indicated in the relationship section and even in the astrology part, it's all about you and Mercury holding hands right now, right? And the magician is a Mercury energy. Mercury rules Gemini, right? The third house about communication and learning, and the 6th house of day-to-day work environment, people we work with and for, our day-to-day experience, mental, physical, emotional health. So feeling really good, feeling really inspired and making something happen. It's the blending of those two houses. So there being some sort of conversation that goes really well. Everybody learning their role, everybody learning what is necessary in order to make something work, and something being able to, again, it's about turning a vision into reality. So I feel like you might be dealing with a little bit of a trippy energy, Scorpio. You guys are so good. Like you have, out of the whole, your bullshit meter is like, and your Spidey senses, you have the best. Yeah, I mean, it's all about it for you guys, right? So trust your intuition. I feel like whatever situation, not that you guys don't, but just as a validation and a reminder, trust your intuition regarding some sort of situation that's going on with work. So we have in the near future, we have the 9 of Cups, which is fabulous. This is all about wish fulfillment, which is coming true, material abundance, really good stuff. And we have it working with the King of Swords in reverse. So the King of Swords in reverse, though, can indicate somebody who is, again, I'm getting this kind of like con man, bribery, mentally abusive sort of vibe that you're dealing with here, having to do with something, having to do with money. Again, it doesn't have to do with your particular job. This could have to do with an investment. This could have to do with even a family member, or if it has to do with inheritance, anything like that, right? But yeah, King of Swords is it's a corrupt energy. It really is. It's con man. It's somebody who is very manipulative, right? Verbally manipulative, right? Because swords are words. But we have this idea of wish fulfillment. So we could come back to that, because we have the Fool energy, which is fabulous. This is about fresh hope and taking chances, a new path, a new adventure, new beginning, giving something a new shot, uncharted territory, doing something different. But it's not going to be easy for you. Yeah, so what I'm feeling here pretty clearly is that you are ready to dump this guy off at the corner, King of Swords. Okay, and you're ready to focus on your wish fulfillment, Scorpio. So a lot of you guys are just gonna be like, you know what, do I really need this person? Nope, let me go and do it, do it my way. Doesn't mean it's gonna be easy. Okay, Nine of Swords can be like, you might have a lot of anxiety, you might have disruptive sleep, you might end up feeling some sort of grief over something not working out. Some of you might even struggle with a bit of depression in the Nine of Swords energy. But the bigger question here is why, right? Why would you be feeling this? Well, the Nine of Swords is a Mars in Gemini energy. And Mars is not only the warrior planet that wants to bring us on the path that's more authentic for us, this new path, but when it's in Gemini, which is one of the mental energies, and it's you communicating with yourself, you're trying to figure things out. What do I want to feel like home in my career? What feels right as far as these choices that I need to make, as far as money goes? So I feel like while you might be feeling some anxiety and some stress about something, it's a necessary kind where you're being pushed to make choices and decisions about how it is that you're actually going to be moving forward. Because the Fool is a very positive energy. Again, it's ruled by Uranus. Uranus is about, first of all, in a very pragmatic way, some of you guys might be taking on some sort of venture having to do with technology, because Uranus rules technology, or some sort of humanitarian effort, right, which is an Aquarius energy. But this is all about the future, right? You're just very focused on the future, and you really very much trying to figure out what it is that's necessary that you need to do on your end to make something happen. So we have this working now as the final outcome. We have Temperance and the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. So the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse is about really working a lot, first of all. Really working a lot because maybe you experienced some sort of financial setback. There could be, watch out for anybody who's maybe a little jealous, a little envious of you within the workspace. Please be careful of that with this energy, because to be honest with you, I see you trying to work something out in a situation that's really balanced and very harmonious. I see you having a lot of control over a situation. You're being very patient. But I also feel like there is this energy that may be sort of secretly very envious. Just be careful of that. But you know what? Listen, you're going to have this stuff figured out in a minute as soon as they walk in the room. That's the thing with the Queen of Swords. I'm not surprised, right? This is a very self-sufficient energy, but this is really about total honesty. You having somebody figured out as soon as they walk in the room, before they even open their mouth, you're going to know exactly what their intention is. It's very interesting to me because these energies have your veil even thinner right now, Scorpio. Way thinner. And you know what? Listen. This is good. The Eight of Cups is about withdrawing and retreating and moving on and abandoning any kind of issue, any kind of person having to do with money or career that has not been serving you up to this point, because you're realizing that if somebody can't be honest and if somebody can't be tempered in their approach, if somebody can't not be jealous of you, if somebody can't be healthy minded, you're leaving them in the dust, and that's it. But I don't feel like, I feel like the nine of Swords energy, though, is going to be you in that space where you're sort of coming into the point of realizing that this change needs to happen, and it has to happen because you're working with this unhealthy energy. This could be a group of people, one person, or this could just be the industry, inside which you're working right now, where you're just like, you know what? Right now I'm all about balance, harmony, self-control, moderation, and I want to keep the unhealthy, toxic, crazy, wackadoo stuff out of my energy when it comes to how I provide for myself and bring money in. So that's what I see there. Let's just roll in some Yeah, Sagittarius is all about integrity, and that's really good. I mean, this is what I'm feeling like. Your integrity is very much gonna, sorry, I'm passing the camera here. Your integrity is really gonna matter right now to you for sure. Yeah, so funny. So will communication, but we know that already. Mercury. And 12th house, yeah, you're going to be very focused on your dreams and your wishes, and what it is that you really see for yourself, really see. And the 12th house, again, is the house of the subconscious. Again, that veil is going to be super thin for you guys right now, super thin. Yeah, very thin. Going to be just seeing through things. Pisces, oh my gosh, it's so funny. This is the 12th house, the mystic. Yeah, you guys are just going to be tapping into your mystic energy right now. Everything I've been saying about that, right? Your spidey senses are going to be turned on. You're just going to be very, very intuitive right now. Nobody's going to be able to pull anything over your eyes right now. Aries, I am. Aries is also ruled by Mars. It's about fresh path, new perspective. This is the leadership energy. This is, you know, really this is the emperor taking the bull by the horns and saying, all right, this is what I'm going to do. This is what we're going to do. And let's go. I'm feeling very confident and very self-assured. So there's a newness here. I feel like there's a newness, whether it's within your existing career, whether it's a whole new career, whether it's a different strategy having to do with some sort of investment or something like that. There's a new strategy that's being incited here that's going to be very beneficial for you. And it really starts from within you, Scorpio. I hope that makes sense. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was helpful in some way, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.